What's going on, guys? I'm your coach to the Portland Trail Blazikens, bringing you the Week 7 battle against Duff, coach of the Milotic Montreals. Nope, Montreal Milotics. And yeah, so I forgot to press the start recording button again, like Week 1. And so here we are with a post commentary. So, anyway, on the pregame, I could see that he brought Alolan Muck, which I figured was going to be Assault Vest. Gliscor, which is obviously a defensive stat. Thunderous, Alakazam, Volcarona, which any of them could be scarfed. And Kyurem. Kyurem could be scarfed as well. Any of those could be scarfed. Any of them could be... Thunderous could be Agility, Nasty Plot. Volcarona could be Bulky Quiver Dance. It could be Offensive Quiver Dance. It could be a Scarf. Thunderous could be a Scarf. Kyurem could be a Scarf. Alakazam could be Life Orb. You never really know. And so we're just going to jump right into it. Make sure the volume is off. And we're going to pause, switch sides. And so I thought, I'm just going to lead Komala because it can take on every single Pokemon on his team 1v1. From full, Komala can handle anything. Unless he had Passimian, that was the only time I would think about not leading Komala. And so that's what we do. We go Komala, and he sends out Alolan Muck. And so here I'm like, okay, so this is probably max, an Assault Vest Muck. And so I was thinking he might be... Super Spadef invested, and then maybe attack or maybe HP. But if he's max HP, my minimum roll is 98.5. But there's no way he was a curse set here, so he was going to be Assault Vest. And so it depended on if he wanted to be max, like super Spadef, or mixed with defensive and Spadef. And so either way, I was like, I'm just going to be able to claim something with Komala. And so I just click Sleep Talk. It triggers Last Resort, and it does 95. And so I got the sets from Duff, and it turns out that this did, or he was max defense, and so it wasn't really, it was a super low chance to OHKO. And so 95 was just a decent little roll. Either way, it doesn't super matter. It didn't get the kill, and it wasn't really supposed to, since he was defensive, or at least he had defensive bulk. And so then he goes for a knockoff, and knocks off my band. I know at this point, then I can either... just click Last Resort here because he might sack off Muck, though he probably was going to keep it as a sack later. But now I know, at least, and he should know, that he can go into Gliscor and eternally survive against a not Choice Banded Adamant 252 Komala. But I'm still going to click Choice Band, or Last Resort just in case, and it does 45, and so it still did a load, meaning had he not been defensive, and I would have knocked him out in one shot, Gliscor wouldn't have been able to outpace me with Roosts, which I kind of knew that going in. But then I know at this point he's probably going to Roost or he might EQ. Either way, I'm okay with that situation. I'm just going to try and chip him again. I didn't want him to get to full. Was my only the only thing I wanted was to make sure that Gliscor wasn't at 100% again, just because it's an annoying Mon. And if it's at 69%, it really doesn't want to go against Mawile as well, because Mawile is so strong that he might Mawile also with Ice Punch could potentially outpace again Roost stalls on Gliscor. And so I was like, okay, now he's definitely going to go for Earthquake, so I'm just going to go in for Wishy-Washy because it's super bulky, and it did 32. So actually that's a good chunk of damage on Wishy-Washy, which was kind of unfortunate because I wanted to preserve it for Volcarona or Kyurem, because I am Assault Vest, so taking this physical damage isn't the most ideal, but it's okay. And so he goes Wishy-Washy, and I'm like, okay, I can just click Ice Beam. It's super free. He wasn't going to go Volcarona on me, and even if he did, I could Earthquake the following turn or click U-turn, because Volcarona is not going to one-shot an Assault Vest Wishy-Washy from that health. So I click Ice Beam and knock out Muck, and then he actually goes Alakazam. And again, I'm Assault Vest, and so I'm just going to click U-turn against this Alakazam in case he thinks he can one-shot me with Psychic or maybe Psyshock. Or I can at least knock it down to the Sash. And so I take only 24 from Alakazam. I actually don't know what his set is. I didn't get all the sets from Duff, mainly just that Muck and Volcarona. But, and Kyurem. And Thundy. But I don't know his Gliscor, which is probably a standard set, and an Alakazam. I don't know either of them, but I go for U-turn and just knock it out. Completely take it out. And I get to go out into Azelf because it's faster than his entire team, and yeah, and so he actually chose to go Volcarona against my Azelf. And so my thought was he's probably Choice Scarfed. That if he's to have a Choice Scarf Mon, Volcarona is going to be it, because he just brought it in against his elf. Now, I would have thought he would have went Gliscor because I only have Ice Punch, but maybe that's too strong. Or he would have went Kyurem. I thought either of those two would have been like his normal answer had that, like if he didn't have any Scarfers, for example. So my only mindset was, okay, he's a Scarf Volcanion. Nope, that's a Volcarona. Scarf Volcarona with like Bug Buzz, and that is going to try and just revenge me. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to click Explosion because unless this is max HP and defensive investment, meaning he couldn't have like max Spatak or speed, that I OHKO. And so I'm just going to click Explosion and get Volcarona out of here because that gives me a lot of pieces to work with. I've got, just 3 versus 5 at this point is super clean from me. I thought, okay, I could go Mawile, but I want to preserve HP in case it's like a Specs Kyurem or he's trying to set up with Thundurus. So I didn't want to keep him at full. I could go Wishy-Washy, but it's probably a physical Thundurus because of Defiant. And then Gliscor, I mean, like, Wishy-Washy would probably be my other answer. And then I couldn't go Nidoking because Kyurem's faster, and yeah. So I'm like, I'm just going to go Kamala because I prevent either Thundurus or Kyurem. Well, I prevent Kyurem from getting behind a sub, and I prevent Thundurus from being able to, like, Nasty Plot or Work Up or whatever, plus Agility. That was my own, like, Thundurus wasn't a concern unless it got both stat, if it double danced on my face. Then it was pretty much over. I mean, not even still because of Sucker Punch, but either way, I thought Kamala was the safest because I would just attack what's there. And so I do. He leads Kyurem. He goes for Ice Beam, and he knocks out my Komala. And so it's like, okay, I could go Wishy-Washy, or I could go Mawile, because Mawile's best utilized against Kyurem at this point, because I live anything, and I get a Play Rough, and I pretty much get a KO. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to, Mega and click Play Rough. 51%. So actually not enough to outpace him. But that's just on a switch-in, meaning, he's going to have to roost this turn. He wasn't going to Earthquake because he's way too low. I'd live it and be able to knock him out. And then he has no defensive backbone to his other 2 offensive Mons. So I was like, there's no way there's no way he's clicking Earthquake here. So I just go straight for the Minior play on his Roost. And that's what he does. And so here was Gliscor was the Mon I was intending on Shell Smashing against, and so that's what I did. I went for Shell Smash. And so at this point in the game, Gliscor cannot do enough to Minior. He doesn't, there's just no move that Gliscor can use to, do much to me. Thundurus, I'm faster than. Kyurem, I'm faster than. Unless either of those second 2 are Scarfed. And since he switched Thundurus in immediately on to my Minior out of Gliscor, instead of even Gliscor trying to chip me, I thought that was meaning that this is a Scarfed physical Thundurus. And so, if that was the case, it would have killed me. So, I made the switch into Nidoking, because again, I'm thinking here, okay, this is definitely choice Scarf Thundurus. And so he goes for Thunderbolt. He didn't even have Wild Charge. He wasn't even physical. But that doesn't really matter. And so he goes for that, and I'm like, okay, I can just get Rocks up here, because in case I can put enough pressure down to force him to go Thundurus instead of Gliscor, or even Gliscor needs to have Defog, then I'm in a really good spot. And so I get to switch out into Wishy-Washy at this point, and he does 24. And so I know after that much damage, okay, he Specs. This is Specs Kyurem. And so I'm just going to let him take me out, and I click U-turn, because then I could have kept it as a sack in case he switched. But knowing he was Specs meant that he wouldn't have sub Roost and stuff, and that he wouldn't be able to beat me in that way. And so I knew I can then go right back into Mawile. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go Mawile, and I'm going to Baton Pass. See, Baton Pass was an interesting choice, people told me. Zex. But having the Baton Pass there was super safe because Gliscor would have been faster than me, and I would have lived in EQ. Excuse me. Let me go to the right turn. Had because like it was Kieran Black clicking Shadow Ball, and so like that wasn't going to do anything to me, and so that type of chip was useless to him. That he'd definitely want to go into Gliscor, and so it's like, okay, I can just click Baton Pass, giving me a free play into Nidoking, which means I get to pick up a KO because, yeah, just how it is because of damage being so great from Nidoking, and so boom, knock him out. That Baton Pass was super nice. And then at the situation, I'm like, okay, I can go Minior. And then he actually just clicks Shadow Ball, and he puts my shields down. Okay? And so, unfortunately, it did. Since he was Specs, he did enough. I mean, if he wasn't Specs, he'd be able to follow up with Nice Beam. Had he been Scarfed, it would have been really nice. But he wasn't. So, I digress. He breaks me down, so now I'm faster than Kieran. And so I can just go off with a Rock Slide. And I do 54 damage to Kieran. And he lives on 46, and I flinch him. So that really sucks for him. I stand by that. I would have won had I not been flinched, and I'll go over that. We'll finish up the game. So I just Rock Slide him again. And then I got to Rock Slide this guy for chip, and again he can't double dance on me here. And so this again makes it feel like that he's Scarfed because he just clicks Focus Blast. And then I get to just go out into Nidoking. I could have preserved Diff by going into Nidoking, but I didn't know, like, in case he was HP Ice. I just didn't want to risk it, and so I get the win. Nidoking gets another kill. And yeah, so we'll back that up. This play, had Minior died, Kieran is still at 46%, right? And he clicked Shadow Ball, meaning I then get to go into Mawile and click Play Rough. Again, Kieran versus Mawile, he doesn't want to click Shadow Ball. That chip is unnecessary. It's useless, really. Because I talked to Duff, and his set was modest specs. So, like, it almost always one-shot me with Earth Power, so he didn't need the chip. Not to mention, had he chipped me, Kieran would have been dead, so then he couldn't click Earth Power against me. So, yeah. I would have went into Mawile. He would have switched into Thundurus and just sacked it. And so then it would have been a 100 HP Mawile and a 100 HP Nidoking versus Kieran at 46 HP. And so my damage calc, I don't think he wasn't very bulky. He was definitely 252 with a decent amount of speed. 252 in Spatak. And so at that point, Mawile Sucker Punch did 34 to 40, leaving Kieran on 12 to 6%. And the Nidokings did like 22 or something. So like he would have needed a lot of HP or defensive investment. Since they both had Sucker Punch, I'd be able to Sucker kill. Had I not had Sucker Punch on one of the two, like had Mawile had Sucker Punch and then not Nidoking, Earth Power probably would have cleaned the game. But having the double Sucker Punch actually preserved me the game, and I would win with one differential versus the two. And again, had I been like thinking about it, I just again didn't want him to be some wild set where he could agility on me and then like nasty plot, because if I would have went Nidoking, like Nidoking couldn't kill him in one shot because I was adamant Ice Beam. I'd have done 75, so like I didn't want to mess around and try and let him bring the game back. So I just sacked off Minior with that Rock Slide, died, and went with Nido. But yeah, so even if I didn't get the flinch, I still should have won. As long as that one play rough, I would have clicked against the switching in Kyurem, or Thundurus from the Kyurem. As long as that would have hit, I should have won. But besides that, it was a super good game. I actually don't know what Duff's record is. Let me bring that up. We're moving on to 6-1. We are. I'm not sure about differentials, but Darkrai, the Dark Cave Darkrai is in the same division as me, so we're at least like tied for first. But then it depends on. Actually, let me just bring it up. The whole thing. Here it is. So yeah, I actually passed him now by differential. So I have 14, he has 13. So I'm 6-1, and he's 6-1. But then we have Sky, who neither like. There's 4 different divisions, and then 2 conferences. And so, like 1 division, 2. There's me again, which again I'm actually past him. And then this and this. And so we don't even play this division. I do play this one. We got the Pidgeots next week. And then besides that, yeah, I think that's about all the relevant stuff we're looking at. But I'm 6-1, and then Duff is in fact 3-4 now, so he's still clearly in the playoff race. Either way, it was a super good battle. Duff is a great guy. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I think I was showing you. Yeah, I had all the stuff in frame. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hopefully next week we can get another win against Jerry, another good friend of mine. I mean, I guess a lot of people in the IBL league are super nice, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys later.